When you are buying Lego, one of the things you may think of when getting it, especially if it comes from a show or a movie or any sort of outstanding IP, you may always think to yourself, I wish we had certain variants. And this unfortunately is just how it is. There is no way Lego can create every single variant of every single character that has ever existed, because logistically speaking and cost wise, it physically cannot happen. And that is where other companies have come into play in the attempt to fill in those gaps, and that has officially become known as custom Lego prints. And there is always a debate as to whether or not custom Lego is something that should exist. There's many reasons why it should, there are many reasons why it shouldn't. But the thing is that is the ultimate question. Should you buy custom Lego? And I will say, I really do not believe there is an easy answer to this question, so let me explain things a little bit more to you. There are two types of custom Lego that you can create. The first one is completely harmless and something that you don't have to worry about, and that is the existence of creating your own custom minifigures. And by that I mean taking many of your pre-existing Lego minifigures and actually reassembling them in a certain way, and that then becomes custom. For example, you may take the core Nia minifigure from Ninjago, and you may decide you don't like the armor piece, the head, and the actual cowl. So instead of the core variant, you may attach the Dragon's Rising armor to it and the original Nia headprint, and just like that, you officially have a custom Lego minifigure. And there is nothing wrong with that whatsoever. It is the other type that definitely has more of the debate, and that is when you get into the idea of custom printing on Lego. And to get even more specific, you actually have three types of this custom Lego. And here's the thing, all of them in my opinion have varying answers of whether or not you should buy it. Type 1, and in my opinion the most reasonable of the bunch, is when you buy a print that comes from an area of Lego's catalogue that literally does not exist. It is something that Lego doesn't own, it is something that Lego doesn't actually have existing in their catalogue, it is something that you physically could not buy off of the company even if you wanted to, and that is where the other companies come in and have said, here is our variant of it that you could buy if you wanted. Again, being a Ninjago YouTuber, it is much easier to give you Ninjago examples. The best one for me is to show you what I actually have. This here is the version of Jay or Rogue that we see in Dragon's Rising Season 2 Part 2. But the thing is that this variant of Jay had a version where he actually used a wolf mask, which gave him red eyes. And just like that, with the addition of this custom print, and I will explain where I got this from after the fact, you now can use a custom head and give him that red eyes. This head print does not exist within Ninjago's catalogue, and also is one that is also accurate to the show and of a decent quality when it was made. So, just like that, I don't really see much of an issue with this one. If Lego were to produce the red eye variant of Jay for this suit, I would buy it in a heartbeat and replace it from this head. But the point is that it does not exist, and ultimately I am someone who strives for accurate Lego minifigures. So, in my opinion, this kind of variant of custom Lego I think is perfectly fine, because I am acquiring a custom variant of something that doesn't exist from Lego, and I am not paying for something that is of cheap quality. The second type of custom Lego, and this is where you get into a grey area, is if you use an alternative for something that may be rare. And this is going to take a little more explaining, and again, time to use a Ninjago example. When Ninjago first released, the core ninja team actually had the 1990s green ninja hoods, something that was retired very quick on into Ninjago's lifespan for replacement of the ZX hood. The thing is that we had one for red for Kai, black for Cole, white for Zane, and blue for Jay. But there was one more character that didn't get this cowl color, and that was actually Lloyd. This is because Lloyd actually joined the ninja team when the piece itself was retired, and after the fact, when Lloyd did get a print that would have needed the 1990s hood, he never actually got it, being the DX suit. But the thing is that personally speaking, I would have much rather had that 1990s cowl on Lloyd Garmadon. But the problem is that the Green Ninja hoods never existed outside of the Green Ninja and the Green Ninja Princess from 2000, and because of it, the print has not been alive, or the color of that print has not been around since then. So it's about 25 years, and you can see what happens to retired LEGO after that length of time. Now, I am no stranger to buying expensive LEGO. I have no issue with it whatsoever, but this is something that has officially drawn my line. I cannot justify the price for that hood, and that is where custom LEGO comes in. Because from the same company that did do the J-Head, I did in fact also buy a Green Ninja 1990s cowl, and the thing is that this is technically classed as an alternative for a rare piece, but the thing with it is the fact that LEGO have no intention on bringing this piece back. The last time we did see this piece was in 2020, again to the Ninjago sets, being in the dark pink variant, but the problem with this is the fact that the Green Ninja hood shows no sign of returning in any way, shape or form, and as far as I am aware, the molds for these hoods are officially destroyed in LEGO's warehouse. So it does lead to a very interesting grey area. Is this something where you should still buy the original piece? Is this something where you can use an alternative? And when it comes to rare pieces like this, it really does come down to where you stand personally. For me, I don't overly mind this. As someone who does want to strive for accuracy and also doesn't want unofficial LEGO in their collection, it was a very difficult pick for me. But personally speaking, I did end up purchasing it because of the difference in price. And for an individual piece that has no intention of returning, I definitely saw it as a viable alternative. But again, in similar vein to the J-Head piece, I personally would not even hesitate to replace it with official LEGO if I am given the opportunity, and this one is, in my opinion, the grey area of the three. But this is where you come to the last category, which is direct alternatives to affordable items, and this has also come to be the term a bootleg. This mainly applies to minifigures and also applies to sets, but the thing is that this comes out whilst a piece or a minifigure is within their life cycle, and again I'm going to use a Ninjago example. Ninjago is a big issue when it comes to bootlegs. You can get near enough any minifigure in the bootleg form, and of course it always comes with a notable quality decrease and a lot of issues that do come with it. I have personally handled fake LEGO, and I can tell you for a fact that when you have these type of bootlegs, you can always feel the difference in the plastic quality, you can always see the difference in the printing. There is a clear issue with these, because you can always guarantee without fail that the printing is always off center, the printing doesn't look good, the color is off, it is completely inaccurate in a lot of ways. It is extremely cheaply made, but the thing is that it's a very cheap alternative that some people deem to be good enough. And in my opinion, this is where I personally draw the line again. I do not believe that these versions of LEGO minifigures should honestly exist. I understand why they exist, and I understand why people purchase them. But ultimately, I can't really discuss that in a video like this, so I'm going to leave that section like that. But those are the three different types of custom LEGO. One of them I believe is perfectly valid, one of them I think is a grey area, and one of them I think is just not really acceptable. And that is where I pass off the question to you. Do you personally think you would buy custom LEGO, and which of the three variants would you be okay with purchasing? Personally speaking, like I said, I have no issue whatsoever with purchasing the first two variants that I mentioned. I think alternatives for non-existent print is completely fine, and also if you need an alternative to something that is unjustifiably expensive, I also see the validity in that as well. But ultimately speaking, in terms of standard minifigures, I don't think the fake variants, the very cheap fake variants, are a solid alternative. But like I said, that is where the question goes off to you. Do you buy custom LEGO? Do you buy any sort of variant specifically? Is there anything you object to? Is there anything you think I have missed out? But here's the thing before I finish the video. As I've shown in this video, I have got the Evil J-Head and the 1990s Green Ninja hoods, and I will be completely transparent with where I got them from. It was from Little Bear Toy. They are someone that is known within all of the communities, and I will make it certain that I am not sponsored by this company. There are things about this company I don't fully agree with, and I want to make it abundantly clear, no hate to this company. I think what they are doing is fantastic, but personally speaking, some of their prices on some of their items, in my opinion, is just a little too high. But that is not a comment on the quality, the love, the craftsmanship that does go into these prints and into these designs. It is just something for me personally where I do believe that when it comes down to it, certain custom Lego of course does come with a price, but of course you also have to have a justified price at the same time, and that is why I didn't buy more from the company. But again, no hate towards them. But that is where I am going to leave it off for today. Like I said, let me know what you think of custom Lego. Is it something that you do buy? Is it something you don't buy? What stance do you take? My only comment is to say, also keep it civil. Because say if you believe no one should buy custom Lego, don't go into the comments and argue with the people who believe that you should. Let's ultimately keep things friendly and let's be nice to each other, because that is what Lego is all about. It's about positivity and not negativity. But that is about it for today, you guys. Thank you for watching. Take care. Okay, bye!